Good morning, all of you lovely people. So an autumnal practice today, working with earth energy and working with our roots, feet to earth, hands to earth, and just feeling that downward flow of grounding and feeling balanced within the body. And within that, once one has firm roots, then just seeing where the body wants to open, where the spine wants to lift, where energy may want to rise. And we're going to work in a slow, mindful way to establish roots through the practice. And just feel that sense of connectivity to the earth as we approach these, well, as we move into these slightly chillier days of autumn. Finding balance. We are at a time of year when the days really balance the nights as we pass through the equinox towards winter. So that too will be the theme within the practice. So I imagine you're all in a nice comfortable seat. Do change that if you'd like to, but find a seat where you can find a little bit of lift up through the spine. And it may help to lift yourself up on a block or so. Even lean against the wall to get that sense of upward flow, as well as feeling connected through your roots. Now, bringing the gaze down somewhere to the floor in front of you. And once you're there, we'll shrug our right shoulder up and back, almost like you're setting it in its socket. And we can do that a couple of times. You can do the same on the left side. And then once you're there, dropping your chin down and into the throat. Until you feel that little bit of stretch around the back of the neck. And once here, you may want to let your out breath escape from the body through the mouth. Let your eyes shut here and feel the shape of your body. Feel the lines of opening within you. Note where your mind is drawn to travel. What rises up into your field of attention. And whatever your starting point is this morning, as you now breathe in, start to lift up through your spine and take your chin up towards the sky. And feel the change in that internal dynamic of the body. And then you can bring the chin to a balanced position, the skull in neutral. And feel the balance of your skull at the top of your neck. And you may like to, for a moment or so, visualize the flow of your breath, flow of your energy up the central axis of the spine, from its base with earth, up through the body, to the very crown of the head and the sky above you. Feeling that connection without any effort. Almost like you're tuning into something that's already there. But bringing awareness to it. Feel the warmth of your breath the release of your breath. And when you're ready to, opening eyes. And we're going to start now, drawing the knees together, a little bit of spinal rocking on the base, on the back. So you can come down onto the back and hugging your knees in, just finding a little bit of momentum along the spine. And starting quite small with your movements, so you're starting just massaging the base of the spine. And over a few rounds of breath, you can take the movement up towards the neck. The knees can come much further over the head. And feeling the contact of all of the spine, or as much of the spine as feels comfortable with the mat. And do a few more. If it feels uncomfortable holding the shin, you could also hold the back of the thighs, if that's easier. And in the next round or so of doing this, we're going to come up and onto the feet. So you'll plant your feet down and you'll rise on the mat like so. And then we bring hands around the backs of the knees and we're going to lift up the feet and let them hang. And keeping the shoulders as soft as you can here, draw into your belly. So now you're supporting the body from the core. And you'll take your chin up towards the ceiling. And then breathing out, draw the chin down and into the throat. And then feet planting down, and we'll all find our way forwards and into a forward fold. And so taking your forward fold, knees and feet hips width apart from one another, and letting the spine hang down. A little bit of bend through the knees to start with. And you can move your head a little bit from side to side here. Now interlacing your fingers and pressing down towards the mat, towards the earth, with the palms of the hands, fingers interlaced. Keep a bend of the knees and breathing in, start to lift the body up, the arms pressing away from you, palms reaching up towards the ceiling. And keep that little bit of bend in the knees until you straighten up, stand up, stretch up. A big in-breath and then out-breath, palms stretching out either sides of the body. And you're going to bring them back round and down to the base of the belly. So bending your knees a little bit as you're sinking down into the feet, interlace the palms again and pressing them down and then stretching them up towards the ceiling. Breathe in as you arrive there and then breathing out, releasing the hands either sides of the body, palms stretching away from you and straightening up through the knees to come back into standing. Another round, interlacing the fingers. Breathe out as you press down and sit down into your seat. Breathe in as your palms rise up. And breathing out, arms releasing, slowly easing, pressing down to the feet as the hands come down. And you arrive up into standing. So interlace your fingers the way that feels less comfortable this time. Lift the palms up to the heart. Breathe out and pump them down as you stretch into your seat, sink into the seat. In breath, palms lifting up. And out breath, opening out. as you arrive back and into standing. One more round with the less familiar cross of the fingers. Lift up, breathe out, sink down. Breathe in and lift and stretch. And breathing out, arriving back and into standing. So shake up your arms now, shake them out down into the fingertips, shake the knees, sink down into the feet. And a nice long out breath through the mouth. And coming back into a steady seat now, a little bit of bend through the knees again. And now consciously draw in your belly to support the base of the spine. And once you've done that, we'll breathe in and we'll let the arms float up, arriving into chair pose. Now interconnect, pressing the palms together here, the index finger will stretch up and you'll interlace the rest of the fingers and you'll cross your thumbs. So your hands are in a shape like a steeple, fingers interlaced, index finger up, and the thumbs crossing at the back, above the head. Now you're in your chair here, and we're going to take the arms over to the left-hand side. A little bit of sway through the body there. You can keep the palms connected, that's all good. Breathe out, back to your center line. Breathe in, come over to the other side. Just make sure, a little point, make sure your knees are facing forwards here rather than rotating with the body to the side. Back to your center line, lift up, look up. And then interlacing all the fingers, release that steeple shape, hands interlaced, press down with the palms of the hands and into a forward fold. And arriving in your forward fold, we're going to take a few rounds of breath there. You can release the hands if you want to here, if you prefer, or you can keep them interlaced, whatever feels kind of most comfortable, beneficial. Make sure you've let go of the neck here. You can move the neck a little bit from side to side. You can rotate the skull in a figure of 8 from side to side. Little bit of bend through the knees again. We're going to come back to standing. But now you're going to interlace your fingers the less comfortable way. You're going to create that steeple shape, so index finger pointing up, thumbs crossing the less familiar way. At the back of the body, press the palms together there. Breathe in, start to lift up with the arms, root down into the feet, arms floating up above you. Hold the shape of the hands. Lean to one side, hips still face forward, like you've got 2 headlights shining forwards from the hip bones. And come over to the other side. Keep holding the steeple shape. Back to your center line. Look up, lift up. And then interlacing all of the fingers together, so let your steeple down as you now press down with the palms of the hands and back into forward fold. You can start to straighten up maybe through the backs of the legs a little bit more. But if you do feel tight through hamstrings, keep the bend through the knees. And once you're there in a forward fold, gain a little bit of movement through the body, nice soft shoulders. And you can move the skull from side to side, or you can take it into a figure of 8. And then releasing the hands and opening them up either sides of the body, a big circle now. As you lift the arms up skywards, you can stretch up and into a gentle back bend here. As you arrive in standing, and breathing out, hands coming down the center line and guide them back and down into a forward fold. Riding in the forward fold, we offer the spine forward so hands can slide up the legs towards the knees. And we're straightening out along the spine. Again, keep that lift up through the belly here. Breathe in. And then breathing out, hands coming down and anchor them down. So put as much bend in your knees as you need to make sure your hands are in contact with the mat. Fingers spread wide, like starfish, and then stepping back for riding in down dog. Little bit of bend through your knees in down dog. And we're going to take the hips out to the right hand side, keeping the feet and hands exactly where they are, but the hips will sway out towards the right. You'll then come onto the left hand side with the hips. Again, hands and feet stay exactly where they are. But leaning the hips out away from the center line of the body. You're riding back to the midline now, and breathing in, we'll lift the heels as high as we can. And we'll start to look forward between the hands. So then as you breathe out, you can bring the knees down. You're arriving in an all-four shape, and we come straight back then to the heels, arms stretched out in front of you. And sliding your hands up towards the body to come into sitting, we'll now take the knees a little bit wider. So your big toe pads can be one on top of the other behind you. You may want to lift the pelvis up a little bit, that's fine. And we're going to come forward with the arms, but threading the needle with the arms. So right hand will start coming underneath the left, the palm facing up. And then from there, we're going to stretch down to the mat. Now you can come onto the right temple, or you can also just rest the forehead on the floor, so the skull is in a neutral position. With your next round of breath, slide your right hand out, stretch it out so it's kind of in alignment and the same line as the left. We come onto the other side now, so left hand underneath right, remember the palms up, and forwards either straight down or else you're coming onto the left temple. Just feeling the weight of the body here. Let gravity do the work for you. So the body releases itself rather than the mind having an idea of that. And releasing the left hand back out to join the right. And we'll start to walk the hands back in and towards the body. Now just use your hands here to draw your knees together, and then lifting up the feet and tucking the toes under, and come to sit back towards your heels. If this is too strong, you could pop a block underneath the heels or a cushion, probably a little bit more comfortable, so you have a little bit more height from the heels. Hands resting on the knees. Interlace your fingers. Breathe in and stretch the arms up. And breathing out, palms coming down. Looking down. Breathing in, palms lifting up. Keep the interlace of the fingers. And breathing out, palms turning down and looking down. And we'll do one more. With the fingers interlaced, looking up, stretching up. And then out breath. Guiding your field of awareness down to earth with the palms. Hands coming back to the mat now. Plant them carefully. Bring the weight a little bit further forward, and breathing out, tucking the chin in, and we come into cow. So you've got a nice curve up through the spine here, and you're drawing up into the belly to support that curve, and your head's hanging down between the shoulders. Now breathe in, draw your shoulders around in a circle to give your spine space to travel between them. And the gaze will come forward. You're now arching the spine the opposite way. Nice strong foundations through the knees, the feet, the hands. And then breathing out. Take your shoulders in the opposite way to draw the spine up and towards the ceiling. Breathe in. Take the shoulders in a circle coming up and around. And the spine will lengthen between them. So now your circle is starting from the armpits and coming towards the neck, through the shoulders, and the spine will curve up. Breathe in. The spine will travel between the shoulders as they circle around. Breathe out. Take your circle round the opposite way. Spine will curve. And breathing into the arch of the spine. A couple more in our own speed. Following your own breath. And from ending in a cat with the spine curving up, toes tucked under, lifting your knees, and we arrive back and into down dog. So a nice big in-breath, and the right leg will float up. And once you've stretched it up, we'll bend the right knee, and we'll take the right foot over towards the left to open into the hip flexor. Breathing in, either step the right foot up towards the hands or come down onto the knees to do so, and plant the left foot down behind you. So on a new in-breath, you can start to lift up and you're in a warrior-like shape, nice strong back leg, really anchoring the back foot down. Right knee has a slight bend on it. The knee's no further over than the ankle. And the hips, two lights on the hips, are facing forward, shining forwards, towards the short edge of the mat. Breathe in, arms will float up. Breathe out, interlace your fingers, this time the less comfortable way. Breathe out, press the palms down and out towards your knee. So breathing in, you're lifting up the arms again above the head. And breathing out, straighten the knee here a little bit if that feels easier. But you'll press the palms down. So then as you breathe in, you will bend the knee back and start to lift up. Just softening the knee in between will make it a little bit softer the whole practice, but you may want to keep the bend through the knee throughout. And we'll do one more together. With your next in-breath, arms floating up. And now take your palms together into the steeple shape, index finger pointing up. Keep the palms pressing towards one another. And breathing out, starting to fold down. Hands can come either sides of the body. You may even want to bring them behind the spine, and you can rest the palms facing away from the body on the sacrum. And with forward fold, hands can come to the earth though here, if you prefer, or to the legs. We'll all release the hands down now to the mat. And with the hands either sides of your front foot, you rotate to your back foot and we'll step the right foot back to join the left. Just your feet so you arrive in a comfortable down dog. And rooting down into your heels here in your down dog, earthing the body through the feet, through the hands. Breathing in, we'll start to come up off the heels, and that will bring the knees forward and down to the floor. Remember to keep the lift through the belly here as you come back towards your heels. Going to find our way into a cobra, moving through and then back into down dog. So arriving on the belly, breathing in, little lift through the spine, and breathing out, toes tucked under, lifting up and back into down dog. Make sure you feel stable and anchored here in your down dog to start with. And then when we're ready to, we'll lift the left leg up now above the head, above the head, up into the air. Stretch up through the left toes as much as you can. Keep anchoring through the right heel, bending the left knee, taking the left foot over to the right hand side to open into the crease of the hips. In the next breath or so, we'll all bring the left foot between the hands. You can find your way there however feels right to you. And we'll flip the back foot down again. Now remember the headlights on the hips as you come up. So your hips are facing forwards down the short edge of the mat. And you've got that little bit of a bend through the front knee again. Now anchor that back leg down. If you notice there, I've got a little bit of bend through the back knee. So you want to lift that back knee up and back into the heel. So you've really got a strong line of energy down the back knee. Okay, from the starting point, we interlace the fingers now the comfortable way. And breathing in, we're lifting the palms up towards the ceiling. And breathing out, palms facing down. And then reaching forwards towards the knee as you lift them up again. Now, as before, as you come down, you may want to straighten that front knee a little bit. Or you may be comfortable working with the knee bent the whole time. Nice slow rhythm. And working with the pace, the rhythm of your breath. As your body is breathing, you can bring breath though in and out through the nose. That's all good. And we'll take one more together. But as before, this time we'll lift the palms up. And you're again going to come into the steeple shape with the hands. Index finger pointing up, lift up, look up. But even as you're lifting, anchor that back foot. And then breathing out, you can start to fold down, letting the spine float forward. And the hands could come to the mat, or they could come to the base of the sacrum. Keeping the feet as your anchor point here, as you arrive into a forward fold. And with your next round of breath, hands coming down again. And once they're anchored, you can find your way back and into down dog again. Anchoring your heels towards the mat in down dog. And as the head hangs between the shoulders, you can take it into a slow figure of 8. The heels lifting high, the knees will come up and forwards and down then to the mat, back into all fours. And from here, finding your way into a small child. So even if your pelvis is a bit lifted here, forward coming towards the earth. And letting yourself rest for a few rounds of breath in a smaller shape as you feel comfortable. Start to bring your hands out in front of the body. And from here, breathing in, we're lifting up and onto all fours again. And for a few moments, having a bit of free movement on all fours, wherever your spine, however your spine wants to move this morning. And again, giving freedom to your breath now. So if you do want to have a few breaths through the mouth, letting your body do what it needs to do. To be with this moment. And to relax into this moment. Toes tucking under now and finding your way in the next breath or so into another down dog. And left leg lifting up now, stretching it skywards. And we bring it between the hands again. This time bringing the right knee down to the mat. Now do use a bit of padding here underneath the right knee if you kind of find that helps at all. And we'll lift the hands up. Now you may want to have blocks here either sides of the leg, so you have a little bit of height. Bringing the hands up though if it's comfortable, up onto the left knee. And once there, you're going to do very tiny circles. Hands on the knees. Back foot can be tucked under for balance here. And from the circles in one direction, you can take them the opposite way. And then dropping the arms down and swinging them by the sides of the body. Breathing in, both arms will float up. Now, left arm's going to stay where it is, but the right hand's going to press down as if you're pressing the air. And then you'll stretch the right arm out behind you and lift it up, coming up behind you to join the left. Breathe out, press the air down. And breathing in, the arm will float up behind you. Final one. Both arms up above the head. Breathe in, lift up. Breathing out, the soft palms now coming down towards the mat. Note if they want to hurry at all, see if you can keep that steady pace of the hands all the way down until they reach the mat. And then from there, we lift the back knee up, stretching out into it, and we're going to step back and into down dog. You may just want to hang in down dog. You may want to come into child. You may want to do a vinyasa. You could either do full plank and come down, or else you could bring the knees down and lower the body down to the mat. If so, we're arriving cobra. And from cobra back and into down dog. So all meeting in down dog. In breath, right foot floating up. Stretching the right foot skywards and then bringing it between the hands again, as with the other side, and the back knee coming down. Again, you may want to use blocks either sides of the foot, or you may be comfortable bringing the hand up to the top knee, the right knee. And once there, we do very, very small little circles in one direction. And then the opposite way. And your hands on the top of the knee, on top of the thigh, guiding those circles. So from there, we'll let the arms hang down either side of the body. And an in-breath, arms will float up. Now, out-breath, left palm presses down the air, even as your right hand stretches up, comes down, and it comes out and behind you, and then back round to join the right arm. Another out breath, pressing down the air, bringing it out behind you, and back around to join the right. Last one. I don't know if you're finding this, but ooh, this is quite intense on the groin. So do soften it out if you need to. Hands above the head, breathe in and lift, and then out breath, soft hands coming down. Keep the steady pace all the way down to the mat, through the sensation of the hips and hands planting down. So back leg now lifts up, the kneecap will, and then we'll step back and into down dog. And once we're there, we'll do a little light, soft bouncing on the balls of the feet. And here, you may want to let the out breath out through the mouth, but you can puff out your cheeks a bit like a pufferfish as you do so. Take your time to come down onto all fours. And from all fours, we'll slide back and into child again. You can keep the arms out in front of you if you prefer, or else to the sides of the body. When you're ready to, lifting yourself up into kneeling. And from kneeling, we'll bring the legs around and out to the front of the body. So you may want to put a block or something underneath the knees or a cushion or something like that, whilst the legs can be flat on the floor. Toes again can be flexing up. But if you find it easier on the spine to have them pointing forward, then do feel free to make those adjustments. So reaching down the legs towards the feet, breathe in and let your spine lift up and straighten up. In breath, as if you're holding a ball in the palms of the hands, almost like a ball of your energy here. Breathing in, we'll lift this up. Feeling energy rise along the spine and up above the crown of the head, into the sky above us. Then breathing out, soft touch, as if a rain shower of light were coming down over the body, washing the body, your hands coming all the way down towards the belly. Breathing in, lift that ball of light up again above the crown of the head. And breathing out, letting the light shower down over the body, through the body. One more. And hands coming to rest on the belly. And from the belly, folding forwards, bowing forwards. Hands still in contact with the belly. And letting your head hang. Now as you fold into yourself, now feel the contact of your palms on the belly as you breathe. Anchoring your attention here, but now balancing our energy, rooting our energy down within us, taking some of that energy away from the head, away from all the thoughts, anxieties, worries, stresses that we may hold there. And bringing our center of gravity into balance within us. Centering ourselves. Letting your hands slide to either sides of the legs now, palms facing up. And see now if you can feel your breath as well as to the front of you, behind you, so the smaller the back. Feel your breath in the back of the chest, the back of the skull. Palms facing one another either sides of the legs. And breathing in, sliding your way up and into sitting again. So now come down onto the spine. Make sure you've got space either sides of you. And your feet can be around hips width apart from one another. Arms can just be lightly and comfortably out to the sides of the body. Now, looking down your left shoulder, we drop the knees. They don't have to be together. They won't be together because your hips width apart. Over to the right hand side. Knees coming back to center line. And the spine rotating on its axis. So knees come to the left, the gaze to the right. As your skull moves to the other side, skull to left, knees to right, moving slowly so there's a synchronicity between them. And you can feel that rotation as they both come back towards your center line. They come to the other side and over to opposite sides. And so moving from one side to the other. See if you can coordinate this. So both skull and knees connect to the center line at the same time before rotating in opposite directions. Finishing around your arm, knees to the center. And you may want to hug the knees in towards the chest. And doing so and holding the knees, guide them in a small circle. So you're circumnavigating the base of your spine, the lower back with the earth. And then you can take the knees the opposite way, reversing your circle over the spine. When you're ready to, dropping the feet down and stretching out the legs in turn. Finding balance, we'll bring both hands to both hips, either hip, and just slightly touching them so you feel that alignment across the pelvis. And then arms can slide down either sides of the body, your palms facing up. And just sensing where your head is. And just bringing it into alignment with the spine. So feeling balance both sides of the bodies. Feeling balance and space at the back of the body to the front of the body. And resting in the breath, finding balance within the breath. The natural flow of in-breath to out-breath. And resting in balance. If you'd like to carry on in your Shavasana for a while longer, then do feel free to do so. But otherwise, bringing awareness into your surroundings and feeling the shape, the contact of your body within this, to earth, to sky. To yourself, to others. And at the center of this matrix of different relationships, feel your breath, the refuge of your breath. part of you that is boundless. When you're ready to, bring a little movement into the body, fingers, toes, and head. And from here, you can then bend knees and you can roll over onto one side of the body and give yourself a few resting breaths there. And then finding your way up and into sitting and taking a comfortable seat for a moment. So eyes shut, will softly open. And we'll close our practice here. Hands resting on the lap. Breathing in, we'll lift the palms up to the heart. And then breathing out, turning them down and letting them float down and out to either sides of the body, like you're smoothing out your energy here. Another in-breath. Hands lifting to the heart. And then palms facing down. And you're letting that energy float out to either side with the palms. Lifting up and out. Smoothing it out. Then gathering palms together to the heart. And feeling the warmth of palms connected to the body. And bowing the mind down. And resting in the body. And closing your practice. Thank you.